Well, giddy up, pals. It's time for another episode of the Pullbox Pals. My whole goal there was to make Monk crack again, and it worked.
Yeah,
How
and
you
I
doing
think
there, Monk?
good. And I think you peaked the volume. I think they heard you in all the way in China, where we're streaming live, but with probably a slight delay because of
Yeah.
space satellites. Am I
Yes, it
correct?
does. It does take a little bit of time.
To get to space. If
Yeah.
you could go to space, what would you do? But what does that mean? Space is so infinite. Would you
I
go? Yeah, that was a dumb
I mean,
question.
there's space and there's place, and then there's like
Mm,
place within space and space within place,
and
and
time within
good
time,
grief.
space, and space time. My God, I just saw
Welcome
somebody
to the.
leave. I don't blame them. Yeah. Please stay. I
Oh,
swear
there.
we'll talk about comics soon.
Yeah. But yeah, we're the Pullbox Pals, and we're here to talk comics. And Monk was gone last week. We had John Dexter on. Uh, so I interviewed him solo last week. So go and check that out. He has Alpha Dogs and Dime Store Detective. They're available through Kickstarter. So make sure to go check those out and support John. But yeah, I had a pretty good time with them, but like the connection was really
Yeah.
bad, and I was really struggling to hear a lot of what he had to say. But I hope it helps him with promoting his comics.
Yeah. So thanks everybody who gave that episode a listen and anybody who checked out the Kickstarter because of it. But I
Yeah.
gotta say, pal, it is good to be back in the pool box. I was gonna say pool box lair, but we're not
Saddle?
doing that. The pull box saddle, yeah. I mean, I guess we're just going full Western theme. I might as well
Yeah.
just change the font to like the traditional cowboy font. Have I ever told you that I have a friend who has my name tattooed on his leg in the like
Yes.
cowboy font? Yes.
Yeah.
And I have his in like the hardcore font. Like just yeah.
That's
I
pretty
don't
cool, man.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's very cool. In hindsight, I wish I would have got like a piece form instead of like literally just his name because he's not like dead or anything. He's out there doing great. He's actually, do you know the band Guar?
Yeah.
He was the sound guy for Guar.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. So like just that's what this trips me out, and this is my ego on full blast. But just imagining a dude doing sound for Guar has my name tattooed on him. That's the closest I'm gonna get to fame right there.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool. My name is my wife has my name tattooed, but
I'll get mad tattooed somewhere. That seems bad because I don't want to get like. Maybe I will. See again.
I'm gonna get your Instagram logo tattooed.
There you go. I thought you were gonna say you were gonna get my Instagram handle, and I'm like, I just
or
changed
like
it
a rendition of.
Your, Why not? It would
just
look
like show. I'll just show my
thing.
tattoo artist. Hey, like, I don't want this exactly. I want you to tweak it a little bit, do your thing, and we'll put it on me.
Yeah, put it somewhere you can't see.
Here I go slouching again. Sorry, everybody.
It's all good. I can see the top of your head, and that's where the Lord comes in. So that's where it matters. Anyway, I'm sorry for everyone who listens to our podcast that doesn't have this like weird religious background. Matt and I met in Bible college, so it's just kind of fun old timey things to just sling out Bible jokes or whatever. So I thought about that the other day, and I was just like, that's probably a really random that it's like biblical references are like something like a touch point for us. But anyways, right. Man, I gotta say, I don't know how to bring this up, but it was something that I did want to bring up, and I can't like guarantee that it's something that we like will talk about.
Yeah.
But I had this epiphany the other day, and like epiphany probably isn't the right word for it, but it felt like an epiphany. I was literally just laying in bed, just kind of letting my thoughts drift, and I just thought, Star Wars is such a good movie. And that was it. It has been so long since I had connected with like the original text, again, let's go back to like the holy, like the original, like since I climbed up the mountain that I forgot how good the peak was.
Yeah.
And so like, I've like really just want to sit down and watch it and like kind of not be distracted and just take it all in, because every time I do, I'm just like, man, this is like such a good film.
It's a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece. Like it's so quick. Like even I feel like the pacing of it even is still good by like today's standards. You know,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
And also kind of like the Bible. The original Star Wars movie has been edited and released a few different times, so
Oh, there you go.
there's different versions that you could take in.
That's true. So I guess I am taking, when I say like it's a perfect movie, I am taking the the George Lucas cut, which, you know, like the last one that was released before the McClunky cut. You know about the McClunky cut?
The McClunky cut.
Yes. You haven't heard about the
Maybe just define it real quick.
It is they added another scene to the Greedo and Han Solo in the cantina. And right before they shoot, he says, Greedo says McClunky now. Yeah. So that's just a fun fact for everybody. I think it was like to be like, he says something that McClunky probably means I'm going to shoot you. And then so Han Solo like defends himself, you know, because there's so much like debate around that scene.
Who shot first? Yeah. Well, yeah. I will say this is like another fun fact, more on the technical side. But if you ask George Lucas which of the releases of the original trilogies are the masterpieces, he will tell you the most recent ones that he edited and put out.
That's what I mean. That's why we have like the hindsight of being people who grew up with those versions to say that they're masterpieces, because he did get to stew on it, and he got the technology of the time to improve, to like give Ewoks blinking instead of just like, those are clearly just like light bulbs in that guy's eyes or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And I used to not be okay with, though, that at the end of Return of the Jedi, they put Hayden Christensen in instead of like the guy who
get that out of here.
But as Star Wars has been like rolling on,
all right, I take it. Oh no, that's not A New Hope. A New Hope remains perfect.
Yeah, but yeah, like the more Star Wars rolls on, and the more like Hayden gets to kind of like come back and redeem like Anakin and Darth Vader as like one person. The more I like, I'm okay with it, because it helps out with like the mental continuity of things. But yeah, I remember like, man, there's a cut that has subtitles for R2 speaking.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I never talked about anybody. I thought I had convinced myself that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love you
so
much.
But no, it's just like, they're out there, but like you're not gonna find them on like Disney Plus. Or
that was a monkey. I tried to do an R2D2, but it sounded like a monkey. I'm sorry, but I'm closer in relation to one than R2D2. But
yeah,
pal, we got a lot of comics. It's been 2 weeks.
We got a lot of comics.
I didn't read. I don't even think I read like a third of what you read, and I feel embarrassed to call myself a comic book man.
Well, I mean, this is all over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to say that I took a break. For those of you who don't know, my band played a big show this past weekend. We have a big one coming up in Philly. Shout that out. If you're interested, reach out to me. Yeah, I know.
Always.
I know.
Always read.
See, here's my thing, though, is like, if I try to read after, this is old man Monk swinging in. If I try to read like after work, I'm just going to fall asleep. So I mostly need things that are more like physically stimulating. So I play a lot of video games. Or I play guitar, you know. It's so like I like to wake up early on like the weekends and read comics. That's usually how I do it. But these past weekends have just been busy. And the same one coming up here.
They're like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. I'm just trying. I still like when I come home from it's the same thing. You know, like when I come home from work, I put on TV. You know, like I just put on YouTube and have a fun time. But listen, we're not here to talk about the thing that we're currently on. I just realized, but YouTube again for people who are listening back to us, it's not going to make sense. Sorry.
We are here to talk about comics, and I have to assume that you've made it to your comic book shop the last couple of weeks and possibly today.
I did. Can we make shirts that say, "Did you make it to your local?" Like can we make shirts that say, "Did you make it to your LCS?" And then people will be like, "What's that?" And then some guy who's probably afraid to talk to people in public will have to be like, "It's from a podcast I like."
They're going to be driven to madness if they can't figure out what LCS is.
Oh, I thought
Just
I
kidding.
thought the madness was a reference to you, and I was excited to see how you were gonna swing in the monk. I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
say the monkness. I don't know what's happening, but what is happening is I'm gonna show you the comics that I got. I got 5 this week, which is I think like my new go-to. I think like the past 4 weeks I've gotten 5 comics.
And I think we've talked about it before, but I think like 4 to 6 a week is like good, and so like 5's kind of like that cap number, that cherry number.
I mean, my hat is like continually off to people that read this, and I love this about like all like fandoms is that the people who are super into it in like the best way are like the healthiest of people. Like I'm thinking about Ross and Andy who like know like just comics galore but don't condescend at all, and like I like look at you as equal, even though I'm like I'm kind of just got into this. I read like 4 comics a week, and they're like, yeah, I just read like 7 trade paperbacks.
Some
you know,
weeks
like that
Ross and
stuff.
Andy's pull lists are just like astronomical.
We look up to you.
We do.
Thank you for including us amongst your greatness, but we're on the outer fringes doing cool kickflips. Anyways, let me show you.
That's how I spend my spare time.
Doing kickflips?
Just doing kickflips.
I've been watching a lot of skateboarding stuff lately. I wish I was doing kickflips. My knees would explode. And then I would turn to Dust, which is sitting up there on your shelf.
I got it right here.
I'm excited to read this. I told you not to spoil it for me.
I won't. And I'll just say it now, but like I enjoyed it. I like where the direction the story is going.
Nice.
So, but yeah, that's something I read over the last couple weeks.
I'll take that home to the bank with me. Okay, so I got a couple more that this one I'm probably, I'm not going to rank them in terms of excitement, but I was thinking about this comic today and looking forward to diving back into this Godzilla War for Humanity. Man, I've just like so in love with the art of this.
The art is fantastic.
You got to respect it. You got to love it. Like it's just so good.
It's like a heavy tribute to like Jack Kirby style of art.
It's like if Jack Kirby was born in Japan is kind of what it feels like. Yeah, very very kind of bubbly, just like our friend Eric. Happy Wednesday, fellas. Right back at you, stud.
Yeah, man, thanks for popping in.
Yeah. The next one that I picked up is from another buddy of ours, TJ. Good old Junction Jones and the Corduroy Conspiracy. Man, really helped making me work to say that title.
I would not know that is a series unless you were pulling it, because that's for one, the title is a mouthful. But
I love it. I love a good mouthful. I'm a fan of like I have a band that I play with recently like periodically called Beelzebub and the Screaming Demons, and I love it. Like it's incredibly long, but it's still like a great Beelzebub. Yeah, and the dude's name is Bob. So like yeah, I'm a good like if it has like a good punch, I think Junction Joan and the Corduroy Conspiracy definitely does. And like I just love the grunginess of the world too.
I more just mean like I'm glad that you're pulling it to remind me that it exists. Like, because I didn't hop on it when it came out. I didn't ask for it. My shop doesn't get a whole lot of scout in. I've gone on this route before. And but yeah, like I'm glad that you're pulling it and reminding me like, oh, there's like good stuff out there to read. I mean, that's issue 3, so you have to be enjoying it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, and it's another one that I'm just like definitely looking forward to. I think part of it is just because I've had a couple good conversations with TJ, the creator, and just knowing like we have similar backgrounds to some degree of like listening to music and knowing like similar circles and whatnot, and like we're both from this kind of area. And crazy thing, if I'm remembering correctly, he met his wife in Taiwan. Which is so like all this stuff. So I think like there's just a part of me that's just like I'm helping a homie out, you know?
Yeah.
And like it's just so cool. That's so cool for me that I get to like go to the comic shop and see something on there. It's kind of the same thing with like Dream Master and Cover the Dead with Lime, of just seeing like I know these people. They're people I could reach out to and have a lovely chat with.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But what else is really cool, and something I know that you picked up, and something I didn't even know was coming. I love my ignorance
Wait, you know I picked it up or I didn't pick it
I
up?
know that you picked it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it is what's the farthest place from here, and you wouldn't dare not pick that up.
Yeah, so I didn't actually even know that I was getting this today.
Yeah, same.
So I was like, when it was the first thing my comic shop guy showed me, was like, oh, here's your stack, and this was sitting on top, and I was just like, we're back, baby.
Just like, oh yeah.
I love the
Oh,
little pumpkin on the back. It's spooky season, man.
It is spooky season. It's time for us to get lethargic on horror comics. I saw R.L. Stine. I don't know if you picked that up. I was tempted, but that last comic made me so mad.
It's in it's so my shop, like the Galen, she's wonderful. She like responds very timely, and she tries to get me everything I ask for. She's great. And she started recently to like put suggestions in my box and just leaving a note saying, do you want this? So that was there in my box today, and I'm gonna have a think on it. I told him leave it there. I might get it next week. But yeah, so it's what, the Stuff of Nightmares.
Yeah, and it's just a different story within that world. You know, that's kind of like his new Goosebumps.
The Red Murder.
I think so. I was tempted, but like the inconsistency in the writing of the last one was just, it was hard for me to kind of just forgive it for somebody who's as seasoned as.
Excuse me, did you just say that R.L. Stine is inconsistent in his writing?
I mean, I don't know if you're being. I mean, I don't know if I don't see. I didn't read Goosebumps very much. Besides, Choose Your Own Adventures on the toilet at my friend's house. That was pretty much all my R.L. Stine. So like, I respect him. I have like I really like what he's done, from what, like, just like as like an aesthetic and like just looking at it, and as an outside observer, you know, largely objective. I think it's really cool. But I was just not happy with the writing of that. Like, almost I think it was a really cool premise, but I just think the characters like constantly were getting bonked on the head and forgetting their motivations. Because that one moment they'd be like, let's build this zombie man, and they'll be like, no. Anyways.
I enjoyed it, and I know that like the target audience is like for the millennial generation, because that's who he wrote to when we were children, but it still kind of has like, this is more for kids vibe to it.
Which is,
but
I think is fine. Right.
And I enjoyed the series overall. And I was thinking about maybe trying to like promote it a little bit, just so people know, like at my shop, like kind of promote like R.L. Stine has a comic book series out. So like, if you loved Goosebumps, like, you know, you might be into this.
I hate how critical I am, you know? So like, there's a part of me that's just kind of like, I think the less cynical would enjoy this, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. And which should be said about everything that I do. That should just kind of be a warning that sits over my head, is the less cynical would enjoy this.
It's more of like a, like, I see why you like it. It's not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Anywho, the last one that I got, I saw this pop up. This was I think this is the only number one that I got this week. But it is the Microverse, and I got the shiny variant. For, if you can see on the screen, $7.99. Yeah, and I was interested in getting this to begin with, and then I saw that I just love like a good old throwback like this is. It says on the top they come from inner space. Like, I love that. Like, I don't know if that is, I don't know the Micronauts. I know that Marvel owned them for a bit and then lost them the rights and got it back. It is where they get the quantum realm from, which is now Ross and Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's correct. So I don't know if this is their slogan. They come from inner space, but I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I considered getting that one, but
yeah, that's a Marvel comic. So I jumped on that Marvel train.
I probably should get that.
Why not? I mean,
it's a number one.
It's a number one. It's shiny.
I love getting Marvel number ones.
There's part of me that doesn't even want to take it out. Like, I'm tempted to just buy, just like get the digital version, you know, check out the extra $3
I didn't really know how much I wanted it until you showed it, and just how shiny that is.
That's how most people feel about me. But anyways, what comics did you what did you get this week?
Well, I got an issue 3 here from Ribbon Queen, AWA.
I really
Pretty
like that
excited about
cover.
that. Yeah, I've really been digging this series. It's probably like, at least in the horror genre of comics, it's up there for me for like my favorite of the year.
Nice.
So I'm excited to get into that. This DC series that I decided to hop on to, I got Penguin issue number 2 here.
I was like, it's going to be a good week for Mad when I was at the shop, because I saw the Ribbon Queen sitting out there and I know how much you love it. So I was happy that was popping up for you.
Another series that I'm enjoying, this is a Tinian work, the Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos. I believe this is issue 4. Yeah.
There's another one with a long title that's good.
Yeah. And let's see. Did you show this? Did you not get this? Or did? I think you maybe decided not to stay with it.
No, anyways.
The Hollywood Special, issue number 2.
It wasn't. I didn't see it. Maybe I don't want to say it wasn't at my shop. I could have missed it, but I would have gotten it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I know he ordered more because I don't think he realized until it got to the shop that it was based in Minersville, which is, again, we're literally the closest shop to Minersville. So I think he was like, oh no, I got to get some more. I think I remember him saying that to me. So maybe it's back. Maybe they're shipping them together. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe
That's cool.
Maybe I just missed it. But I will definitely be picking it up for sure. It's set like here. I just have to.
You go find yourself a copy.
Little partner.
And now 2 things I know that you're going to be excited that I finally have in my hands, but I got 2 trade paperbacks, and I was wondering if they were going to be coming or not, because the one I'm holding in my hand, its release date was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think. Like, it wasn't today, at least according to the secret source, which
I'm feeling so teased right now.
Sometimes is wrong. I'm also really excited to share this with a shop that we're friends with in town. It's called Corazon, and it's a wine bar.
Okay, yeah. And I see them like our stuff from time to time.
And Nick, who's a super nice guy, he's also like into comics. One thing I love about selling comics at the shop is I'm learning like what people like to collect and find, and like he likes McFarlane stuff. So like he's bought a few like Spider-Man McFarlane drawings that I've had at the shop, and so I've had some great conversations with him. But I told him about this, and I think I'll read it and probably loan it to him because you loved it so much. And
you're never gonna tell me what it is.
No, I'm dragging this tease on.
I know. I'm gonna look back at the time thing and just see how long this went on for.
But it comes from Aftershock. It's written by Brian Hawkins.
Just tell me it's the Vineyard. Thank you. I saw it in the corner, and I think I might have saw it in your reel. But man, I was really worried that this was something else, because I saw him post about it, and for a second I panicked. I thought it was like issue number 5 or something like that, and I missed it. But yeah, I'm real stoked. I think you're gonna love that. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into that, but I'm really excited to get into this thick, heavy guy.
Oh boy.
You might be more excited that I'm holding this in my hand than I was holding the Vineyard in my hand.
It feels like Christmas.
But just behold.
I'm so sorry for that. I'm gonna have to cut that out of the audio. I just like screamed into the microphone. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. That was another. I was thinking today of just like, man, behold. I might read it again before the end of the year. Just give myself a little treaty poo. You know.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely gonna be up there on the top.
Well,
10,
you got I mean, you have. I think this is another reason too, because I've been like getting my pull lists ready for like the coming months, and like winter is a really good time to like cut down and reread like stuff that you've read over the year, because I mean it's really like springtime is, I think, when a lot more like just awesome comics come out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't have numbers to like prove that, but it just like, that's how it kind of seems to me. Like,
yeah, I think a lot of stuff intentionally wraps up towards the end of the year, because I think a lot of it's easy in that like December, January time to like forget about whatever you were doing, you know, because time kind of just becomes an empty circle, you know. Oh man, I am spent. All right, good night, everybody. I haven't read comics like this in years. I'm I am like genuinely nervous now because I don't like to build people's expectations for things, and I feel like that's all I've done for this. So I had like, if you don't enjoy it, don't feel bad. And same to Timmy, if and Monk, if Matt doesn't enjoy it, that's okay. You know?
Yeah, that's fine. It might be a I see why you like it. It's not for me
Right.
situation.
Oh my God. I just think
bringing things back,
yeah,
full circle.
100%. Because I'm just, oh no, that I thought you were saying bringing it back because I'm literally just having flashbacks of like seeing my favorite like parts from
No,
the
but I mean,
comic.
like
Oh,
one
so
of the
good.
reasons I picked it up though is because of like how highly you like enjoyed it, like
That's
the way
true.
that you talked about it on here, and it's just like, okay, like my interest is intrigued. So
Yeah, and that's the same with A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. You know, I sat on that for the pretty much the entire time, right? And
yeah,
then like at the end of it, I was like, you know what? You were right from the beginning. This is very
yeah,
good. And I was, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that today, that there hasn't been that many comics that I've been thinking about a lot of things, man. I'm always thinking
yeah,
um, that you and I don't have that many comics this year that we were both reading simultaneously that we really enjoyed.
yeah.
Like, I
I guess
think there was some that we read to like
we'll have to go
completion.
back. We'll have to go back to the tapes, to the replays.
But I'm like,
Watch
now that
some footage.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to like sit down and like in our detective chairs, which is just this chair that I have. It's a leather chair.
Yeah,
This would go great in a detective's
I
lounge.
know. Well, I've also been thinking about that
A
too,
detective's
in
lounge
just
doesn't
terms of
exist.
like, I do need to start thinking about what are my like favorite things I've read this year.
That's what
I
I've been thinking.
and that's gonna take some time where like I either wake up early in the morning or go to bed later than I want to. So
Ugh.
it's gonna happen though.
We'll figure it out. We'll
But
get
yeah,
there. We have
man,
like 2 months.
we got
Anyways,
some time.
you want to
But
dive
yeah,
into some comics?
let's do it. Are we starting with something that smells good in the kitchen? Some
I sure think so.
some rare flavors.
Some rare flavors. Um, I feel like I have to add that like extra like
I'll pull mine down here so
oh,
people
I
can see
also have
this
my
cover.
copy. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
we're the same one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, man, I will say this from the get-go. I will not be able to say anybody's name in this comic, probably. But dude, just give me Rom V doing whatever this is for forever, you know?
No, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Like, do we want to give it? Have we ever had a like group whatever the banger of the week before? Have we ever had one? Or would you consider
Like
this a banger of the week?
this is man, it's I
See, I was also on the fence about it, but I kind of got myself
well,
hyped
it's
now.
just because I do have one that I think is my banger of the week, but this one
Okay.
was like really honestly just as good in its own way.
Can I say that it's been 2 weeks since we last talked? So,
This is true.
and
This
this
is
came
true.
out 2 weeks ago, I think, didn't it? It came out a while ago.
I think so.
All right, can we sneak it in? Let's just give it
Mhm.
for. I mean, I'm just gonna say it's my
Banger of the week.
oh, started playing back, but yeah,
Banger of the week.
yeah. Now just
Um,
everybody say it. But
but
I let me just say that like the reason I feel compelled to do that is because I just really love the concept. Like
yeah,
concept is just next level, just like the Many Deaths of Lila Starr.
from the title,
Yeah.
like it's just a brilliant piece of work. Like everything has to essentially do with the guy on the cover like loves food,
Mm-hmm.
and like throughout it like there's like notes about food that he's either like eating or recommends. Like I think there's even a recipe for how to make something correctly that he indulges in frequently.
Mm-hmm.
um
His
so it's
name
just
is
like
Bakashura. Bakashura.
yeah,
Right, he's the main guy that loves food. Sorry if I cut you off there.
no, but just the whole premise of it, just the title of it, and the way that like the colors kind of also just seem to be like inspired by like the steam coming off of the food. Like
Mm-hmm.
just how, when you're spinning your spoon around in your cup of coffee to mix in whatever you put in there, if you put stuff in there, like,
Mhm.
I don't know, the colors like kind of have movement to it,
Mhm.
and it's a brilliant work. And who's the artist?
Uh,
Felipe,
yep.
and Andrade
Andre, I would
on.
say. Felipe Andre, something like that, maybe. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm normally not always the biggest fan of like, well, I guess these empty backgrounds are like stall walls or whatever, but like, I just don't care because it's a beautiful color, like just the liveliness. And like,
yeah.
have you been to Bangladesh, right? Or am I
No,
thinking of somebody
you
else? I've been to
not
India
me.
twice, and like, I just got to say, it just like brings me back. I've had chai in India, and it's just like, it's the greatest thing in the world. You
Yeah,
know,
it's a different story when you're like at
and you
like
can like,
a source base.
yeah, like I can smell it and hear it is kind of nice. Same with like that comic about Minersville of just being like, I know these hills,
Yeah.
like I drive over them. They have so many there's so many red lights in Minersville. But anyways, um, yeah, it's just a treat, man, because it's just like, such an original concept. The idea of, I'm sorry, I feel like I cut you off while you were explaining what
No,
was
you're
happening. So I really love the opening because I feel like
yeah.
it perfectly sets up this character. So it opens with this. I'll just show you the first page because I can do such a thing on the internet. Sorry if you're just listening, but it has the main character Baku Shura looking at this picture, and so he's talking about it.
It's a
It's a
painting
painting. Sorry,
hanging in a
sorry.
museum.
Yes, I'm just so excited. So I'm just like overflowing. But he's writing to this person named Mancy, who's I don't think's ever really seen in it, but just he's explaining that he just left, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm such a coward. I just deserted you. You kind of know that I'm this type of man, right? Um, so he's standing in front of this picture, and then he starts describing it, and then over time you realize that he's talking about himself, of being like, I'm the one that's portrayed in this picture, and him being his commentary on the things that are happening. And in the picture, it's just a warrior taking down. It's similar, going back to the Bible, to a David and Goliath story. It's
Yeah.
essentially almost the same thing, except David beheads Goliath. No one ever talks about that in Sunday school.
Nope.
But yeah, so he then goes out from there to meet up with this guy who I'm going to flip a couple pages and try to find the name of, Mohan, and he like essentially asked him to make a documentary about his life, I won't even say his life. It's more about the flavors that he enjoys around the area. That he would essentially it would be a documentary about this guy going and trying his rare flavors, or like the favorite things that he really enjoys. I took that for you, Matt. I know you love to know you love to put the title in the review, but yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm just talking so much. Hit me with some mad thoughts on it.
Well, like, just even though, just back to the intro, like, I I don't know if that's like a real painting or not, but I know that like in the intro of the painting he's looking at,
I'll look it up while you talk, because I'm
but
sure
like,
he says the name of it.
I don't know, just like kind of, I think of like a creator making a comic, and the opening scene is your main character looking at a piece of art. And like, you see it done in movies and TV shows, but like with comic books, it just, for me, it's just like a different level, because it's meta in a sense. It's art
Mm-hmm.
within art. And like, so much like great like thought and consideration can come from just sitting and staring at like a great work of art for a long time. And I love that that's kind of the tone, like the setting stone of the tone of the comic, is that like our main character, I don't want to mess up his name,
Baku Shura.
Baku Shura. Um,
Baka Shura.
he,
I mean, I'm sure it's said a little bit differently, but there seems to be some like evidence of this actually being a tale.
yeah, no, like, I know it's based on like a real like
But I'm
tale,
getting a
but I
lot of
don't.
Krishna with a bird.
Huh.
Yeah,
But
so It might be a different interpretation. I don't
But
understand Hinduism.
it just shows like how much like the main character appreciates like the little details, and like when he starts getting into talking about like food, just that's coming from a place of like eloquence on his part. Like he really
Mhm.
knows what he's talking about. He's really enjoyed these things just within his way and his culture of life. And so it was just like it was a really good like character building first issue, and
Mhm.
it really just like I wouldn't say I was like excited finishing it, and like it was just like this is the best number one I've ever read, but just also taking into consideration of Lila Starr and just how much building that was to the
Mhm.
climax at the end of
Mhm.
that series. Like you and I said it in my review, but like Ram V is just very much cooking something up with this.
Yeah.
And I'm like that's where my excitement lies, is that I can't wait to see where this story finishes.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's going to be a few months, but
yeah, but I'm gonna take the whole roller coaster, man, because I just think it's gonna be a beautiful exploration of something. I like the idea
yeah,
of exploring like a demon's more eloquent side. That's
yeah,
that's a cool idea to me. But I definitely think that our buddy Eric sums up kind of how we feel about it. He says, "Holy beep, rare flavors was so wonderful." Yeah, dude, I 100% agree. Again, banger of the week for me because I just trust it. It's a good original concept. I'm super excited to see what Rom V has to give it to me. Just give me more Rom V. I'll take it.
yeah,
100%. And again, I can't remember if I said this earlier, but I wanted to that it feels like it's in kind of like it doesn't have to be, but it feels like it's in the same universe as the Many Deaths of Lila Starr. And so it's kind of fun to just think that like it's just this new like interpretation of Hinduism or like presentation of it, or just using these imageries to like just relay beautiful points to both Eastern and Western audiences.
yeah. And if you're a foodie,
Yeah,
you're probably gonna love this series. So,
yeah,
but yeah, another great work from Ram V. I'm excited for this series and just to see where it goes. But we also read something else this week.
we read a couple of something else.
We read it. We
Let's
read a couple of something else. Do you have
let's
something you want to wrap up on?
yeah, I feel like we should go. It's like a compliment sandwich, but
Okay.
do you know what are you tracking with me?
Hmm.
But actually, so this is not. We're talking about the Cull. I'm not going to do a mad and just leave people teased out for all eternity. But the
Oh, come
Cull,
on. It was like maybe a minute.
yeah, it felt like forever because I was very excited. But yeah, so the Cull number 2. For those that didn't maybe listen to the episode, I wasn't as thrilled on it as you were, but I
Yeah.
definitely grew an appreciation in this issue.
Yeah.
So,
And like this one was very much like a world building issue. Like
mhm.
the first issue sees this group of I don't know, Scooby Doo detectives.
No, I mean they don't know that they're detectives. They think that they're making a movie. So they're just like
Yeah.
they're in their senior year. They're about to all go to different colleges, so they want to kind of do like one last thing together, and
Yeah.
they're gonna make
But
a little film.
at the end of issue one, they like traverse a portal to another world or dimension or something like that. And so in this issue two, they're in this world, and it really was just I feel like this issue is just trying to show like this is the world we're in now. And
Hmm.
also like you have 5 teenagers that are in a different place without authority, and just like this might be the last chance because we might all die here. So they kind
Hmm.
of have like this angsty teen thing about them, and but they are in just like this world that's kind of like beautiful but also
Hmm.
full of terrors.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a very good description of it, buddy. Good on you.
Huh. Thank you.
Um,
I've been thinking about it all week.
have
No,
you really?
no.
So I read this, I think, either last night or the night before, and I honestly like almost gave up in the beginning. But there was a part of me that was like, no, you just pull through, man. Like just pull
Yeah.
through. And I think part of it was because I didn't like that they were like, I think that this is a liminal space between realms. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Just let these people because I'm sure that if you and I stumbled into a foreign realm, we'd be like, this is probably what this is.
Yeah.
Like I think even if it's not what it is, I think just even the human brain needs some sort of
An
like
answer.
you can't
Yeah.
just walk through a place that is completely foreign. You need to dictate that in your head, and then you can kind of at least move around with some level of assumption.
Yeah.
Um, I've never just been teleported to another spot, so I'm not 100% sure how I would
You should
react.
try it sometime, man. It's great.
I've heard it. I've heard all the rage, but I'm scared of losing my arm like that one guy did. I know it's 101 or something like that, but the odds are just terrifying to me. Yeah.
Don't never tell me the odds.
Don't. Yep. 100%. So, there was definitely some parts in it that weren't my favorite because I feel like some of the characters just did some things because the writers wanted them to have that happen.
Yeah. Well,
And
and this is also an issue too, and we've talked in the past, especially when a series is going to be about 5 issues, maybe 6. It seems like issue 2 or issue 4 kind of really kind of dips down and just tries to level things out a little bit.
mhm.
And that's kind of how I thought about this one. I really did enjoy issue 1 a lot more, but issue 2 had kind of a setting to build, and
Mhm.
I know that issue 3 is going to kind of pick up, when its
Here,
feet hit the ground, it's going to be running.
so here's what I'll say. I think if you're listening to this, you can kind of hear the excitement in my voice, because I really loved the last page. I thought it was beautiful. I thought what the person said was phenomenal. I don't really want to.
Oh,
Do I want to? I mean, I don't want to spoil it because I'll give it a couple weeks. Because I thought it was. I
when we talk about issue 3, if we
Yeah,
both talk about it, we can bring it up.
yeah. But I just that what they said and them and just how they were looking at this earring and stuff and what the earring meant and all this, I just thought was oh, okay, cool. This is a good setup into how everything's are going to be going. Oh, our
Yeah.
buddy John just swung by.
No, hey, John.
Howdy, John. And yeah, so it was I was in by the end. I'm
Yeah.
okay, cool. And I will say this, I did want to throw this out to you. Would you have thought that this would have done better as a double-sized first issue, these two comics?
I think so.
I 100% agree with my question that I posed to you.
Yeah. I mean, the ending of issue 1 was it was a good cliffhanger, but can we just get into it? And so I think it would have worked really well to have the first issue just be issues 1 and 2 combined, because yes, the ending of issue 2, I don't know if it's a little bit more grander. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the right way.
I think it kind of gives us more of a understanding of what we're going to be dealing with rather than I think the ending of number 1 was too vague.
It's
and just
Timmy fell in the well again.
Yeah, well, also, you got to cover it up, or I'm just gonna dive right in. But yeah, oh my gosh, what was I gonna say? I feel like the beginning of issue 1 kind of it shows you that weird stuff is going to be happening, and it gives you a time frame in which it's going to be happening. So when you see these kids, and it's not that far away, it's a couple of hours or something like that. So you know that these stuff's about to hit the fan. And I don't know, it was just a weird way to end when you're already aware that there's weird creatures and things out there. Why did you not show us that? I think we talk a lot about how the ending of issue 1 on when you're trying to set up it's a normal world normally, everything should it did a good job of just kind of setting up everything as kind of normal, right? But then I think it didn't really pay off on the same level as there's an equally weird thing happening.
Yeah, well, and issue 1 was very much more exploring the emotional depth of what's going on in the situation, where this one was much more just actual world building of this place that they went to.
Right.
And so like, but yeah, it was great. I think they would have worked better together in tandem. And
Agreed.
then it's also just issue 1 starts off with like the ending, essentially. Like there's the now, like that's like the first few panels is now, and then it was like before, and then like 12 hours later.
Right.
And like that's where the story like picks up in issue 1. And so the place we're in this world is still in that 12 hours later, but we know the depth of the like emotional past, and we also same with the emotional future.
Yeah.
But we don't know how we get there. So
well, hey,
but
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
All right.
Yeah, so issue 3 should be out actually probably in 2 weeks, I'm guessing.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But something I'm very much excited to talk with you about is there was a massacre.
Oh no!
Of the Endfield Gang.
You don't say.
Yeah,
I heard that they were no good scoundrels set in that Texas Blood universe.
Exactly. It's
Except
exactly.
We kind of don't get to see them as no good scoundrels much. I mean, they do rob a bank.
No, they do at the beginning. They do, but like that's like really before like the moment the law really comes to town.
Yeah.
And in that moment, there was a decision made by the leader of the Enfield gang that like, yeah, maybe I should, go straight and just get like a life going, and I can be the bodyguard at the bank, scare people off from trying to rob it, blah blah blah. And but then also by the end of issue 1, the bank teller has been murdered, and the Enfield gang is being accused of it.
And he's been like strung up. Not just, he hasn't been murdered. He's been like, I don't want to say sacrificed, but like put on display. Like he was ornamental. Yeah. It was an ornamental death. Is that appropriate? I don't think so.
No, that sounds too nice.
I'm trying to make it like nice instead of like he was strung up like a gutted pig.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that if you want to be nice about it, we'll go with ornamental. But yeah, so like issue 2 is now on like I don't know if you've ever seen Boondock Saints when their pal comes in and he's all like, pack your stuff, like we gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
like that's kind of what issue 2 felt like. It's just like yeah, we're getting chased down by law, we're being accused of something we didn't do, and basically it's just like an old-fashioned Western gunfight breaks out.
Well, we have to talk about that. So the end of issue number 1, the sheriff shoots I think one of the guys out, like a guy who was like standing outside the bar. And is it a sheriff or a ranger? I can't remember.
He's a Texas Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and he's like old school.
Yeah. So he just like blows this dude away and then comes into the bar. And then the guy that Enfield is having a drink with, he just blows him away too. Which a part of me is just like, why did you not just blow away Enfield with that shot? Anyways, I'll let that slide. But I'll let that slide, not because of what follows, because I can just forget it. But what follows is absolutely phenomenal. Those couple of pages of the shootout, and I feel like when people are building worlds where there's like grotesque violence due to guns, that you have the choice of either doing small blood or like just stupid amount of like you look like somebody filled a pumpkin with red dye and blew it up, And I think that's the route that they went. And so I love the panels where it's just like wood and just blood, and it's no text, and it's a guy like with a panic look on his face, like trying to figure out how to shoot somebody, and like it's so cool. It was so well, just so well choreographed of just how the page was laid out and how you could see them moving around. The whole thing was just top notch.
No, 100%. I loved it. I'm really excited about this series. Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips.
Did you read volume 2 yet of TB? That text, yeah. I forget
Not
what it is.
TTB.
Yeah, there we go.
I haven't yet. I haven't
Mhm.
actually checked because I've been watching for it to come on sale at Comixology because I got the volume 1 for like a cheap price on
Yeah,
Comixology, and
we
the pocket's not overflowing, so I have to try and
right.
budget some reads.
I want to start sending you stuff. I hear the pool box or the pool box layers, the comic book layer send each other stuff, and I'm like, oh, I want to just give that. I want to buy you something. I want to treat you because I love you, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm jealous of their friendship. I want to. I wish I would have sent you the vineyard, but I was happy to have it whatevered for me. But anyways,
Yeah.
man, you got in a lot more reading than me. Do you want to start doing some spotlights?
Yeah. So I guess I'll start off with my teased Tide Banger of the Week.
Ooh,
Uh,
you're tied. Do you mean
well,
you're tied?
Banger of the week.
exactly. Um, yeah, I had the privilege of reading Blackout Bombshell this week,
Okay, yeah.
and
Hit me
I
with this.
I absolutely like loved it. The main character is just he's really funny, but like not intentionally. He just like speaks what he's thinking. And a lot of the stuff that he just comes out of his mouth is just like,
Where
okay,
did
I'm
that's
gonna, I
fantastic.
gotta, I'm gonna,
Oh
I don't do this often and pull
no, be
these things
careful.
out.
I always get so worried with that tape. Oh, don't
Yeah.
touch the comic. Don't let touch it. It'll ruin it forever.
um, but yeah, like I think I've said before, like I don't get the opportunity like that often to get something from Sumerian, and
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty excited to get this in my hands. So this is by Louis Southard, who also writes one of our favorite series, Midnight Western Theater.
Oh, that's right. This is okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Woo!
but yeah, so like the first issue, and I'm assuming the rest will, but each one starts off with a chapter title, and then there's breaks throughout it. And so this one gets through, I think, chapter 4 or 5. Yeah, and but yeah, if there's a preview available to like read chapter 1, like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's worth it, just because basically he wakes up in a taxi cab, well, and assumes he assumes he's in a taxi cab from a blackout drinking stupor, into which a lot of stuff happened that he doesn't remember. He's also a private detective. His best friend is like a lawyer, and he has like this thing attached to him where like when he basically like chews out like the driver, just telling him how worthless he is and making him feel really bad. So the driver kicks him out of the car and just hands
As
him
one
like,
should.
don't forget your things, and it's an envelope, and he's like, what is this envelope? And there's a picture of a lady, and I'm not going to spoil too much about like the whole like issue by just telling you chapter 1,
Right.
but like while he's like sitting there like where did this come from, like who gave me this picture, like who hired me last night, uh the lady walks into his office, and he's like, oh man, I'm like the world's best detective. But then
Oh
like
man, I gotta
she
get this.
she pulls out a gun to kill him,
Oh, that's not good.
and so he's like he dodges the shots that are fired at him, and then he opens his desk drawer to get his gun, and I think he like didn't reload it or didn't remember where he had placed it,
Mm.
and so he's just like, crap, where's my gun? So he just pulls the drawer out of the desk and hits her over the head with it, and then he like sits down just like looking at her, and he's just like, I need to figure out what happened last night. I'm beginning to think I'm in trouble. And
Man,
then like the
oh,
rest
so
the
sad I
rest of
didn't get
issue
this.
1 kind of begins to explain what happened that night, and it's
Ugh.
like it's just wonderful. The art is great, like the way everything is orchestrated with this comic, I just really really enjoyed. I love Louis Southard's writing,
Mhm.
so it's fun to like be excited and enjoy, uh because like Louis Southard's not like a huge name, at least
Mm-mm.
not yet, but he
Mhm.
is doing Midnight Western Theater, and
Mhm.
issue 1 of what is it,
Witch
the Witch
trial.
Trials, like sold out. Like that's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's great for him, but also just seeing he has something else that's out as well, and it's just as good.
Yeah. And who published it?
It's Sumerian.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude, I gotta get my hands on that somehow. I don't know. My shop didn't get it my shop usually gets Sumerian, but yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
so that was one that, and I think I got it because I saw that, like, I think when Witch Trials became available to like put in your pull box,
Mhm.
I like looked up what else he was writing and saw that this was also coming out, and I was like, oh, it looks cool and it's Sumerian. Like, I don't get a whole lot of Sumerian, but I have always enjoyed it, so
Mhm.
I just went for it, and it paid off.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to get my hands on some because that sounded terrific.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the other comic, there's like two more that I want to talk about. And none of them are super like jumping out at me. The first one being Grit and Gears #5. Man, this is definitely a comic that I'm gonna go back to, and like, because there is like some jumps and it's not like my absolute, it's definitely in that tier of comics that like I enjoy. It's not my like favorite at like top notch whatever, but it's like this is just consecutively continually the same,
Yeah.
consistently good is what I was trying to say. And yeah, it's kind of wrapping up, and I'm just one more issue left at 6, so it's like this is one of the
Huh.
longer ones for me,
Yeah.
but I've been enjoying it, and like I said, like I'm excited to go back because it is a very brisk read, and the story kind of just takes place over like a day and a half, so I think those kind of stories are like good to just hit it with the
Oh,
trade
that's
paperback,
pretty cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
it only took over a short amount of time.
I mean, there is like some time jumping because they explain like whatever, but the main like gist of what's happening is I'm pretty sure from what I can remember is there's not a whole lot of time happening between everything. Yeah. So what else did you get into?
Something else I've really enjoyed, and I was able to get this ordered by the final order cutoff date, and I posted about this one, and some of our other pals have read it as well. But it's from Raphael Grandpa. Have I already talked about this? I feel like I've already talked about it, but
I mean, maybe, but it's a new episode. Everybody's
yeah, Batman
episode is a first.
Gargoyle of Gotham.
Yes, you have. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I guess again, just express how much I really enjoyed this. Like, I
Mhm.
felt like I was just reading a good Batman comic with like mystery to it, just like, because we've talked so much about how like the mainstream DC, it's just like it's hard to like really keep up with it because it's just been recycled so many times, and it's like I want to see, like, yes, I love the Joker, but like how many times do I actually want to see like Batman and the Joker like go head to head over whatever shenanigans the Joker's up to? Like,
Right.
if it can be
Yeah.
told well, like, I'll love it. And it seems like with DC Black Label they could do a lot more with those stories. But yeah, like this one, just it introduces a new character that I keep thinking about, just how like creepy of like
Mm,
an Arkham Asylum patient this person would be, and like gave me the willies in the way that, like, when you think about how bad the Joker is, like
mhm.
this guy is all like kind of like on that same level of, he's just like a cold killer. um
Ugh.
so
Well, I will say, I just want to shout this out that our pals, the Comic Book Lair, did a episode on Batman for Batman Day, which passed
yeah,
recently.
oh, definitely
That's
go check that out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a good one. So if you're a big fan of Batman, go give that a bat listen.
give it a
Um,
bat listen.
yeah, give us another one there, handsome.
Let's see what else came. So I don't want to go too in depth in any of these, just more acknowledging that I appreciated and read these. But Jeff Lemire's Fish Flies, I got to read that. This was issue 2.
Mm,
uh I really do think I like Jeff the most when he's just doing his thing.
hmm
But I also, in the same week, Tenement issue 4 came out, which he does with Andre Sorrentino. I think that's how you say his name. Sorry if
sure.
I say it wrong.
Yeah.
But like Tenement's just so good. Like it's just, to me, it's just as good as Gideon Falls so far. Like, just
Mm,
the
wow.
mystery and just the darkness. Like, just it's like shrouded in something evil that we don't understand. And
Well, that's
I
a good
just,
sell. Gosh,
yeah.
Mark, you're a good
So
one. You should be working in a marketing firm somewhere. My
uh,
goodness.
maybe someday I will.
Well, we all have dreams.
And then another one that was an issue 1 that I read, and I think this is the only issue 1 I have up on my wall at the moment, but Hexagon Bridge
Okay.
came out, I think, last week.
How's that? Ooh, gotta think.
I don't like it's one that I think I need to see play out.
Okay. Yep, I
Like
understand.
it's not it like I really enjoyed the art, and like the story just kind of seemed a little dragged out to me, but it wasn't like a bad story. It just wasn't like very fast paced, and there's a lot to collect in issue 1 just in terms of like the backstory before issue 1.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, it was good. Like I'd probably give it like a
Or a
8,
rating.
like
Oh,
an 8 or a 7.5, like
okay.
somewhere
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
good. I would
Um,
love that if somebody told me that anything I'd ever done was that rating. So that's great.
but yeah, it does seem like it has like promise to it, and I know a lot of other like comic book people that like read a lot of Image stuff are pretty excited about it. So
Nice. Awesome. I just got last one that's also Image, and maybe you have read Big Game #3.
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, well then I
I
won't spoil anything.
I had it in I have it in my I take a to read folder with me.
Yeah.
Like if I have to take my backpack with me, like I have this to read folder, because you just don't know if you're gonna have that time to sit and read. And a lot of
Sure.
times I go to the shop, like when I'm working at the shop, you might find me reading a comic, and that was on the top of my pile that I took the other day. But I ended up playing Sudoku and Solitaire most of the day. So
Oh, well, there you go. Sometimes you got to do that. I play Tetris a
yeah,
lot, but
yeah,
yeah, it continues to be good. He continues to just kind of do things that I'm like, oh, where is this gonna go? It's only 2 more issues, so kind of just see what's going on.
yeah,
Kick-Ass shows up again, and not much happens with Kick-Ass. So I kind of hope that something big happens with Kick-Ass, but I don't want to spoil anything. And we'll talk
yeah.
about it. We'll talk about it after you read it. I did have a question though. How was Sissy? Did you talk about that already?
Oh yeah. So I also read Sissy. This is from Scout Comics.
Yeah.
It's like hauntingly fun.
Ooh.
I think that's a good way to put it, because essentially what's
Oh,
going
I want
on,
that.
like the premise seems to be that the mother of these 2 children has either like left or passed away, but like she's no longer in the family. And like the opening scene is essentially like the mom's mom, so grandma, maternal grandma, is kind of just laying it on the dad for like not being all that he can be. But he's also like she did die, she's gone. um he's still dealing with like the loss of his wife.
Mm,
And after like his mother-in-law kind of chews him out, like he says like I need to go to the store. And then the older brother, who is the one that's pictured here on the cover, I'll pull
okay.
it down and give it a little closer look.
Yeah. Treat us to a look.
He's like really caring for his younger sister. It's like they have a cute relationship.
Mhm.
And the bear here is her teddy bear.
Ah,
And
there you go.
so, but this night, so the dad goes to the grocery store, but he doesn't come back. Like he doesn't come back to put the sister in bed. And
That's probably
the
not good.
and so the 2 siblings had watched like a scary movie together. He puts her to bed, and at some point in the night he's being woken up by her teddy bear,
Okay.
pictured here.
Yeah.
And he's telling him like, hey, your sister's been taken into this other realm, and I need you to come with me so we can save her. And
That's
so it's just kind of
cool.
like, it's kind of this like horror thriller, like hanging out with your childhood teddy bear situation.
Yeah,
And
I mean that's
I
that's a cool premise.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super fun, and I'm excited to see where it goes. You know, we always enjoy Scout Comics when we get them.
Mhm.
You know, I typically see. I don't think I've ever like cut off of an arc in with Scout Comics.
I don't think I have either.
I typically like just go all the way through with the arcs, because I enjoy Scout Comics and just like kind of the voice that they let their creators have.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, hey, I think that'll do it. I'm starting to get plum tuckered. Plum tuckered.
ton pluckered.
Plum tuckered. I don't know if you, for those of you watching at home, I don't know if you can see in the closet behind me, there's some sort of like light or something. And I've been worried this entire time that like something was going to pop out and get me because I don't have any light. I'm sure it's just a reflection.
I've been thinking
it
the
is a
same
reflection.
thing this entire live stream. I've been looking at
see
that
it?
back door. Yeah.
Wow. So that's the horse we're gonna ride. He's back there waiting to get me. Let's ride on home.
Is it a spooky horse?
It's a spooky horse because we're getting to that time of the year. Next time we talk, it's gonna be October, buddy.
I know.
That's
I
insane.
love it. I love October.
Me too.
It's my favorite month.
You're my favorite month.
Oh,
but hey,
appreciate
what should people do and how can they find us?
Yeah, well, you can typically find us at pullboxpals on most social media platforms. So Instagram, Twitter, here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. And if you just look up the Pullbox Pals on
TikTok.
anywhere you listen to your I thought I said TikTok.
Maybe you did.
Maybe I did.
It's important. It's the biggest one right now.
It's the biggest. It's a hot thing right now.
It's
get on the TikToks.
If you haven't, hey guys, I don't know if you've heard about this thing called TikTok yet, but it seems to be all the rage. So yeah, go ahead and check that out.
But yeah, and if you're trying to find a place to listen to us because you don't have time to sit down and go to a streaming service like YouTube or Twitch or Facebook and watch the recap of this episode, just look up the Pullbox Pals on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and you can listen to us there. You can find me personally, for the most part, on Instagram at mad_nerdy, and you can find Monk over here at thatmonkguy89.
Yep.
He added a little number there.
I did. All my like my
which
TikTok
is a prime number.
Oh, look at you and your stupid prime numbers. They're not stupid. They're probably some sort of like spiritual foundation going back to the Bible. Now we really brought it full circle. But yeah, I don't. Oh, it was just makes it more consecutive because on my TikTok and my stream where I do Tony Hawk high scores and Mario playthroughs. New Mario's coming out next month, and I could not be more excited. Your boy loves Mario. But you know what else I love? Chatting with you. It was a great episode. Thank you for everybody who was watching. We had a bunch of people on, so I appreciate that. Make sure that you like and follow. And Matt already said all that, so I'm just reiterating. But hey, you know what they say, and by they, I mean me at the end of the comic book podcast that we do every week. I haven't read comics like these in years.
Cue it.
What you say?
Cue it.
I got nothing funny to say.
That's it.
That's
That's all, folks.